End of the world, Mayan calendar, was wrong and world will end next week. The fears of end of the world were heightened after a scientist revealed there was a discrepancy with the Mayan calendar, and now conspiracy theorists warn that next week the world could end. The Mayan calendar, which spanned from 3114 BC for around 5,125 years, reached its end on the 21st of December 2012. The date was hailed as the end of the Earth by conspiracy theorists, warning of an imminent catastrophe. But when nothing happened, those theorists seem to have worked out a flaw in their plan. However, that's not to suggest the world wouldn't end. Instead, there was still an argument that there was a difference in the Gregorian calendar, adopted in 1582. The error meant that 11 days of the year had been lost, to better reflect the time Earth takes to orbit the Sun. But while 11 missing days don't sound like much, the days are quickly adding up. And this would mean the 21st of June 2020 would currently be the 21st of December 2012 according to these estimates. Scientist Paulo Tagalogan said in a now-deleted Twitter post, "We are technically in 2012, following the Julian calendar. Due to the change into Gregorian calendar, the number of days missed in a year is 11 days. The Gregorian calendar, 1752–2020, used for 268 years 11 days equals 2,948 days. 2,948 days, 365 days equals 8 years. And this 2012 date was, according to Mayan calendars, the subject of a conspiracy theory that the world will end. NASA said, the story started with rumors that Nibiru, a so-called planet the Sumerians have found, is moving toward Earth. This disaster was originally expected for May 2003, but when nothing occurred, the doomsday date was pushed forward to December 2012 and related to the end of one of the cycles in the ancient Mayan winter solstice calendar in 2012, thus the projected doomsday date of December 21, 2012. Conspiracy theorists now claim that on that revised June 21, 2020 date, the world could end. One posted online, when in the 1700s the world switched to the Gregorian calendar, we lost some 8 years in translation. So this year is technically yes 2012. Another said, when everybody switched to the Gregorian calendar in 1752, 8 years were lost, meaning that it is 2012 that is technically 2020. What would have happened in 2012 you know? Indeed, this is the end of the planet. It all of a sudden makes more sense 2020. A variety of disasters and tragic incidents have already occurred this year, from the global pandemic that killed thousands of people, to the killing of unarmed American citizen George Floyd, which sparked a new Black Lives Matter movement around the world. NASA said, however, that there is no proof or other empirical data indicating that the world will end on December 21, 2012, whether that date has passed or as the theory implies, next week. The space agency said, where is the evidence for any reports of disaster or drastic changes in 2012? Where is the proof? There's none, and we can't change that simple fact for all the fictional assertions, whether made in books, movies, documentaries or over the internet. None of the statements made in favor of unusual events taking place in December 2012 are reliable facts. Experts on the Mesoamerican culture also say the Mayan calendar-based predictions of end of the world have been misread. The calendar would instead reset at the end of the 13th Bacton instead of ending life entirely on Earth. William Saturno, an expert on Mayan archaeology at the University of Boston, told National Geographic that the calendar is similar to the mileage count of a car, which ticks at mile 99,999.99 and resets to zero. He said, we know, of course, that does mean 100,000 miles and not a zero. So, is the end of Bacton 13, a long period, coming to an end? Yes. Did the Maya end like the end of time? Yes. Should this have been a time that they felt was great wicked? You bet. Bacton finishes are the biggest time endings they've seen. Was the end of the world predicted? No. No. That's us alone. Instead, Mayan calendar ending might mean a new start as the calendar resets. One Twitter user wrote, okay, so I know people talk about 2020 being the real 2012 on the Mayan calendar because in 1500 we lost 8 years, which is true. But to add to that something wilder here. The Mayan calendar has these fantastic cycles, and the reason people believed the end of the world was on December 21, 2012, was that it was the end date of a Mayan calendar cycle. But the Mayan did not believe it meant an end. Actually, it's rebirth time. When a cycle runs out, the calendar is meant to reset to the start and start all over. It is meant to be a time of renewal and change.